Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at what went into the making of my third film, which is October 31st Alone. But first and foremost, I just want to say to everybody who has watched October 31st Alone and has watched Guilty Conscience over the last couple of weeks, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for communicating with me in the comments, having a chat with me. And there's a lot of back and forth with some of you, and I love that, and I think that's brilliant. Thank you for engaging with these movies. Like I say, to me, they're old movies, and I put them up, just so that everybody else can see them. But the fact that they're reaching a wider audience after all this time is, it's absolutely astounding, and we love that. So thank you so much. Please do continue to watch the videos. Suspicious Mind, which is a feature, it's almost a feature-length film. It's 46 minutes long. That went up on Monday. That hasn't got so many views just yet, probably because it is a long film, and I know that people probably don't want to sit around that long and watch it like a 45-minute long film. But I hope, that you'll give it a chance. I hope that you'll like it. Please do click on the thumbs up button when you do this, because it just basically spread those films out across YouTube. It lets more people know that they're there. And also, if you do that, if I can get more awareness for these films, then, when I come to do some new movies, that will really help me out, because that will help me kind of spread the word and get some backing and stuff like that. So if you can do that for me, if you've watched the videos and enjoyed them, just click on the thumbs up button, because it helps. Right, as I said, today we are going to be looking at October 31st Alone. What I will tell you first and foremost is that the film wasn't originally called October 31st Alone. It was called something else, and we will get to that a little bit later on in the video. The whole idea behind it came about because I was shooting a little Halloween fan film in this particular house back in 2005. Now, the reason we did this is because I had a brand new camera. It was a brand new kind of HD camera, and I just wanted to see what that camera did and what it was capable of. But I didn't want to go straight into the shooting of Suspicious Mind. I had the script for Suspicious Mind ready, but I didn't want to go straight into the shooting of it and hit any hurdles, if you know what I mean. I wanted to kind of know what the camera did, what it was capable of, whether there were going to be any problems along the way, and that kind of thing. So what we did is I wrote a little scene, if you like, from a Halloween movie, with a Michael Myers mask and a girl being in the house and Michael Myers there and all that kind of thing. And I thought it would be ideal to take the camera into the house and film in the, the kind of the lows of darkness and what we could do with light, and see what the camera could do and what it couldn't do, and that kind of thing, really. So we did this little Halloween test thing, and the house was actually loaned to us from a friend of my wife, and his name is Mr. Brian Cox, and he graciously loaned us the house to do this test shoot in. And while I was in there, I thought, I could really use this house for something else. I could do an original story and use this house, because it had such a unique layout. We had the living room, and there was like a big square where you could walk around into the other kind of side lounge and the kitchen. It was kind of open plan, but with this big block in the middle where the stairwell was. And I thought there was loads of things you could do with hiding people behind kind of doorways and things like that. So I buried it in the back of my head. I thought, I want to try to come back and use this house someday. So, I put that away, and of course we went off and made Suspicious Mind in 2005. And shortly after Suspicious Mind, we went straight into production on Guilty Conscience. And, I relayed that story in another video earlier on, how we came up with the title and all that business. So once we did Guilty Conscience was I don't want to say it was a heavy slog of a film, but we had a lot of locations, we had a lot of actors, and it was a great fun movie to work on. Don't get me wrong, we had an awesome time shooting Guilty Conscience, and nothing was like a pressure, if you know what I mean. But there was a lot to do with a lot of actors and a lot of locations to lock down. And I thought I just want to do something very quick and very fast after I do that, just to get another film out very quickly after it. So if Guilty had been admired and liked, then we could have like a follow-up from boom, straight away, no great, year or so wait while we do another one. There was this very quick film we could rush out and get it out there on the back end of Guilty Conscience. So Guilty Conscience, I finished filming, and I was thinking about this house the whole time, thinking, maybe that's the place. Maybe I can go and use this house, do something very quickly in there, 2-day, maybe 3-day shoot, and it will be done. I just wanted to be very quick, very raw, with a minimal cast, minimal crew, and, to get the thing done very quickly. So I finished Guilty Conscience, I finished the final edit, I was happy with the final edit, and I sent it off to Patrick, who does all our scoring and all our music, and I said to him, right, you take that away, enjoy that, and do what you can with it. And in the meantime, I'll go and work on this brand new movie. I thought the idea of using, like I said, I wanted to use a minimal crew, minimal cast, and I thought the idea would be really great if we could have almost like a single character film. Just a single character in this house responding to certain noises outside and being scared and kind of escalating the terror. That was the idea behind it. We didn't quite reach that as much as I wanted to. I'd love to go back and shoot another version of Alone in this house. But yeah, that was the plan, is to shoot this one girl in a house and have an escalating terror, like tiny noises building her terror until we reach the climax, of course. So that was the plan. And I spoke to Sydney Howard, who is my actress in the beginning of Suspicious Mind. So if you've seen Suspicious Mind, she's the blonde girl at the beginning of the film. And I said to her, I feel like I've robbed you. I feel like you've done a cameo in Suspicious Mind, but I want to give you a film. So how about we go and do Alone? We're going to do this very quickly. You'll be the star of the show. We'll get that done. And, thankfully she agreed, because she's awesome to work with. She's absolutely great fun, and we had a great time working with her. And she's got a certain charm and charisma about her, which really plays off well, I think, in the movie. So she agreed to that, and of course you can't just have a girl in the house on her own, because you have to have things for her to respond to. So we had to have other actors involved. Of course, it can't be just a one-person play. So we had to have two voices on the telephone, the secretary and the police officer, and that was played by, the secretary was my wife, and the police officer was Gavin Williams, who you may know from Guilty Conscience. We also had the trick-or-treaters, and that was a mother and two children. We had the boyfriend, the threat, and also the television broadcaster. The television studio and the trick-or-treating scenes were done in two separate locations away from the house. The television studio was shot at Highbury College, where I'd been doing a journalism kind of course back around 1994, 1995. And I remembered that they had this massive old TV studio, like, you remember when you see them like on your local news, where they'd have a massive TV studio with the big old cameras and the curved set and everything like that. They had that back in 94, 95. So I contacted one of the lecturers down there, and I said, do you think I can come down and shoot in your studio? I just need like one day to do this one scene with this news reporter. And they were like, yes, come on down. What they didn't tell me is that set wasn't there anymore. All they had was like a big blue backdrop. So I thought, we had our actress there and she was in her outfit and everything. And I thought, you know what, let's just get a high stool, pop her on it, and we'll shoot it anyway. We'll make it look like a TV studio in the edit. So that's what we did. So we had her sitting there against this backdrop, and she delivered the lines. That was Celia. She was fantastic. And then she did her piece, and we put that inside the film as well. As for the trick-or-treaters, that was done in a different location. We had a mother out with her two children, and of course Sydney's character Melissa looks out the window first of all, sees them happily trotting along doing their trick-or-treating on a Halloween night. She gives a little smile, and of course later on in the evening, once the news is broken that there's a psycho on the loose, she looks out the window again as she's kind of locking her house up, and she sees the two little children being gathered in from the mother and rushed home again to keep them away from this nutter, of course. So that's the two scenes that were shot away from the house. Everything else was shot in and around the house itself. We did get lucky actually with the scene. One of the scenes where there's a scene where Melissa goes to the front door. She hears a knock on the door. The doorbell rings or something. I can't remember. But she opens the front door and there's nobody there. And she's looking up and down the streets thinking, but who did that? Who did, kind of a ding dong ditch kind of thing. And as we were doing that, a helicopter was going overhead with a searchlight. And I grabbed the camera. I said, I'm just going to get this, and if I can use it, I'm going to use it. So I pulled the camera up on my shoulder, pointed in the sky, and we've actually got the helicopter in the film, kind of with its searchlight out. And that's fantastic. Obviously we couldn't afford to do that for real. There's just the fact that it happens a fluke on the night as we were shooting. As I say, we shot over 3 days. And, Sydney was basically the lead actress in the film. She was like the sole actress in the film, if you like. So everything was working in and around her. We had these other voices. We had these other characters who drop along later on, as I previously mentioned. But yeah, she was the main focus of the film. And she was a real trooper. She really worked very, very hard. But also in the downtime, she also gave us a lot of laughs. There is a blooper reel, which I don't think I'll put out because it's just too funny. But yeah, there's a blooper reel that we made actually on the end of the film. So yeah, we had a lot of fun shooting that, and she was really good. She's really great at doing going from having a fun sense of humour to kind of being very, very scared. And the moment we call cut, she's back to that fun sense of humour again. She's absolutely fantastic to work with. So we did that, and as I say, there's other characters that were involved in and around the shoot. I was doing the camera work myself. Like I say, we wanted to do this with a minimal crew and minimal cast, and just get as much done as quickly as we can, make it as quick and raw as we could, just to see what we could do. So I was operating the camera, and I was doing I did every camera shot in the film, and I also unfortunately had to do the lighting, which means that a lot of the lighting shots in the film are very dark, a lot darker than I wanted them to be, and I also had to take care of the sound at the same time. We did have as you can see, issues with the lighting, which were unfixable, unfortunately. It is very dark in places, so I do apologise for that. And there were a couple of issues with the sound. I think it was just kind of normal house sounds, things like electric lights buzzing in the background kind of interfered now and again, so we had to take that out and fix it and reshoot it, which is probably why it went from a 2-day shoot to a 3-day shoot, literally, because we had to take the film back to the edit the next day. I'd look at it in the morning, see what was wrong, and then we go back the following evening just to go and do some more filming to fix those problems. So that's how that worked out. The shoot of Alone went very smoothly, and I kind of took it home and I put the thing together. So we were only there for 3 days. We had the thing done. We couldn't really take this guy's house for any longer. He was very kind in loaning it to us in the first instance. So we didn't want to trouble him for too long, and the whole thing was really, the idea was to rush it and kind of get as much as we can done in 3 days and see what came out the other end, if you know what I mean. So I took the film home and I put it in the edit and edited the film together, and I thought it looked okay. I thought it was fine, but there were certain things about it I didn't like. We couldn't get the house any further, so I kind of did what I did with a couple of my other films, which was just kind of let it sit on the shelf for a little while. Alone was literally abandoned for a number of years. And it was only while I was going back through my old films, I think we left Alone there, and I went on to shoot It's My Party, I think It's My Party was my 4th film. So we went on to shoot It's My Party, which was much grander, much more ambitious, and much more in the style of Guilty Conscience, with kind of a big cast, big locations, and a lot more time spent on it. It was just a lot heavier, again, another heavy film to do, whereas Alone was a little quick project just to kind of rush out the door and see what we could do. It's My Party was a lot more of a bigger project. It involved a lot of special effects, a lot of location work, lots of working outside in all kinds of elements. So yeah, that was the film that we went on to work on next. And Alone just kind of sat in my vault, if you know what I mean, for a long time. I didn't really look at it. And we went out and shot It's My Party, which then became October 31st, It's My Party. Because I thought I wanted to set it on a kind of, pay my tributes, if you like, to the Halloween franchise, because I was a big fan of the Halloween franchise, and I wanted to pay my tribute to them. So it became October 31st, It's My Party. And eventually, I thought, well, Alone is set on Halloween night as well, so maybe Alone could be October 31st Alone. So after a number of years, I actually went back to it and I looked at it and I re-edited it and I put it all together, and I thought, I don't know if there's something in this. I really don't. I mean, it looked good. There was moments that were great. The performance was great, of course, from Sydney. And I just didn't know, to be honest with you. I looked at it, I just didn't know what to do with it. So I contacted Patrick, who did our score on all of our films. And I said to him, look, I've got this film called Alone. It stars Sydney, who he knew very well. And I said, I don't know what to do with it. I said, do you want to take a look and see if it can be salvaged? Do you think there's anything that could be done with it? There's sound needs fixing, there's this needs fixing, that needs fixing. He said, yeah, send it over, I'll have a look. Oh, okay. So that's what I did. I mailed it over to him. I said, have a look and see what you think. And it was gone for a few days. I didn't hear anything. I thought probably, he probably thinks there's nothing that could be done with it or something. So I just kind of started plotting the next movie. And I eventually got back to me. He said, I actually really like this film. He said, I think something could be done with this. And I was like, really? He said, yeah. I think I can do something with this. So he took it away and he produced the score that you see on the film and he sent it back to me. And I was amazed, actually. I got it back and I laid the score on the film, put it back into the edit, re-edited a couple more things, and I watched it back. And I was surprised how much I liked it. It kind of transformed the film. The music score completely transformed the film into something which I didn't know about, into something which I thought, you know what, this could actually be quite good. So I was very pleased with that. It, like I said, transformed Alone, made it a completely different movie for me. And then we decided to premiere the film, and we premiered the film down at the Queen Elizabeth Country Park, and I think we've done a couple of other films down there as well. And I think online, on this channel somewhere, you can see the footage of us premiering October 31st Alone, and we've got, obviously, Gavin playing the ghoul in the introductions there. So yeah, go and have a look at that. That's when we premiered the film. It went down very, very well that night, actually. We actually sold out the theatre that we screened it in, and we could have sold it out for another night. There was people being turned away because, you know, the whole thing was just so busy. So that was encouraging. The audience on the night really enjoyed Alone. I think we showed it back to back with It's My Party, I think, which was shot in the Queen Elizabeth Country Parks. So they had like an October 31st double bill. They had Alone and they had It's My Party. So you have it. That is the history, if you like, and the making of Alone. Yeah, I was just going to mention about October 31st, wasn't I? So yeah, the October 31st title was literally added because we had It's My Party out there, and that was called October 31st. And the whole idea was to kind of think about if we could do a trilogy. And the third and final part of that was called Don't Fear the Reaper. But we'll talk about that on another video further down the line. Yeah, it was originally just called Alone. Just called Alone, about a girl in the house on her own. Same as Guilty Conscience was just called Guilty Conscience, and Suspicious Mind was just called Suspicious Mind. You know, this was just going to be Alone. But then when we did It's My Party, the October 31st tagline came along, and I thought maybe I can make this into some kind of a trilogy. So there we go. So we got October 31st Alone, October 31st It's My Party, and October 31st Don't Fear the Reaper. Like I said, we will talk about that in another video down the line. And it was going to be the October 31st trilogy. Anyway, that's the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed some insight into how we kind of came up with the ideas and the themes for Alone and how it came together. If you did, please click on that. That would really help me out if you can. It doesn't cost anything. Just click on it. It'd be great. Also, if you're brand new to this channel, thank you very much to all the new subscribers. But if you're brand new to this channel, please subscribe. Again, that's free, but it just lets you know when I've done another one of these videos and you know, what we've got coming up. I do really appreciate all of your support, all of you people that have written in and you know, contacted me about the movies that we've put up so far. It really does make me grateful that you're enjoying these old films. And if you can continue to support me, literally just by clicking on the thumbs up and subscribing to the channel and sharing the videos to everybody else that you know, I will be able to go out and make some new movies. I've got some cracking ideas, got some really good scary ghost stories that I can tell you. If you can support me just by doing that and subscribing to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. In the meantime, I'll see you on another video very soon. Hopefully I can do a talk about how Suspicious Mind came together. Suspicious Mind is on the channel right now. Please go and give it a look and give it a thumbs up. And I hope you enjoy that one. It's a different one. It's not so much horror. It's a bit more of a thriller, a bit more of a love story kind of thing. In the meantime, I will see you all very soon. Take care.